Hey everybody, and welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're going to take a look at the Batman Curse of the White Knight hardcover. This was released yesterday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, middle of September 2020. Hey everybody, and welcome back to BK's Bullets. We're going to take a look at this Batman Curse of the White Knight hardcover over here. But we cannot talk about this hardcover without kind of doing an overview of what you might need to know before you read it. So first thing is first, we're going to be talking a lot about Azreal. As you can see, I got some Azreal action figures over here. I got the McFarlane line up here, which you can't see, you just see their feet. But basically, Curse of the White Knight is a direct sequel to Batman White Knight. This is the deluxe edition. I also have the trade paperback over here. But in terms of size, the Curse of the White Knight is just regular hardcover. It's the same size as your trade paperback. It's just a little bit bigger because of the hardcover pages. So let's take a look at the dust jacket and the cover and jump right in a little bit before we go on probably what's going to end up being a deep dive on Azreal. But you do need to know some stuff before you dive into this book. I think so. So this is all written by Sean Gordon Murphy, who did White Knight. And this also contains the Von Freeze one-shot by Klaus Janson, which is why his name is on the cover. He's a big deal. So here's the cover. It's got kind of the shiny parts with Batman. See how it's like semi-shiny on the blacks and stuff? That's kind of cool. Kind of a glossy effect. You got Azrael's face up here. You open it up on the inside. Here we have As-Bats, as Sean Gordon Murphy does them. And on the opposite, you have his portrait. A little info blurb over there. Let's take the dust jacket off. And I think this is the cover to one of the issues. So kind of a very different version of Azreal than we've seen in regular comics. He's got guns and stuff. And then there's the spine, Batman, Curse of the White Knight, Sean Murphy. I guess it's Sean Murphy, not Sean Gordon Murphy. I don't know. I follow him on Twitter. There's the back cover. And on Twitter, he's Sean Gordon Murphy, I thought. Or maybe it's something else I read that was, he had Gordon in there, but Sean Murphy. So what is this cover made out of? It's not glossy, like the deluxe edition here is kind of, it's not glossy either, but it's smooth. This is kind of a textured surface. And what I would equate this most to is, let me pull up my example over here, the Earth One hardcover ribbons right here. So this kind of texture right here is very, very similar to the hardcover texture right here. I like it. It's cool. I think you're going to take the dust jacket off and you're not going to drop this book. You're not going to drop this one either. But this is a little more like pronounced. And I guess it's a little more glossy. But this one is definitely matte. So, Curse of the White Knight. What do we need to know? Well, it's a direct sequel to White Knight. It's a soft cover here. This is 8 issues. I want to say Curse of the White Knight is also 8 issues. Let's open it up in here and flip through it. So this is a standard size hardcover. Like I said, it's a regular size comic. Yeah. 8 issues, and then presenting the Von Freeze one-shot. So this is the actual cover to issue 1. That's on the dust jacket here. So what is weird, I was flipping through this book to make sure. The issues, when I was reading, I bought all these digitally because I loved White Knight so much. And on issue 1, on page 1, 2, 3, right after 3, digitally, you got this large, I'm going to close this so I don't mess up my book, double page splash. See, it says Arkham Manor down here. Turn the page, And then boom, this was the double page splash. It was in every issue, at least digitally. I'm assuming it was the same way in print, but this is like a title page, I guess you would say, and it said book 1, book 2 as you went along. And this is promo art they released long before they solicited the first issue. It was like, hey, here's what's coming, and this was my wallpaper of my computer at work for many, 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 many months. So this one's like partly colorized, and then as the issues kept going, they did like a more colorized version of it, or like a full color. So here's issue number 6. That's full color. It says book 6 down here, and that's in the middle of the book. This promo art does not appear in the book at all. Here's issue 5, book 5, kind of right in the middle of stuff like that. So that was a little weird. I didn't see anything about it in the back matter or anything like that. And it's a beautiful piece of art. I would have liked it as maybe the hardcover. I like this cover as well, but I would have liked it as like the wraparound cover. I think that would have been cool. So I'm a little, I don't know why they did that. Anyway, so we need to establish that this, other than being a direct sequel to White Knight, is its own universe. So there are things that happen in this book that do not matter to the rest of the DC universe, absolutely. This is all Sean Murphy's take on Batman and Azrael and the Joker. So we start out, if you remember, we had Jack Napier here. This is the McFarlane action figure right here. His head pops off. So I have the Jack Napier head on, but there's also a Joker head as well. He ended the volume of White Knight, kind of like turning himself in, because he had done some things as Jack Napier and Joker he'd regretted and kind of wanted to make up for it. And I think we left Harley, I want to say she was pregnant, yeah. So Harley, Jack Napier play a big part in this book. And basically, the Joker kind of escapes and then finds basically like a janitor, and then says, hey, you're this guy Azreal, and you're the rightful heir to Gotham, and you need to take back what's yours, right? So paper quality, standard glossy paper. I'm not sure if this is better than the original issues or whatever. Like I said, I read them digitally. But, so yeah, so the double page spread, let's go back here, isn't in this book at all. Got that Arkham panel right here I'm showing off. And then in digitally anyway, you turn the page, and then there was that double page spread. That's not here. I was wondering if they were going to do that because it was in every issue as a title page. But I guess when you're presenting it in a singular work as like a graphic novel, you don't really need to do that. So let's close this up a little bit and talk Azrael and what you need to know before jumping into this. So Azrael is a 90s character created by Denny O'Neil and Joe Quesada. And he came out in this series right here. This is Sword of Azrael. This is the original collected editions, 4 issues long. You can also get this story in the Azrael Fallen Angel Volume 1 trade paperback, which collects this 4-issue miniseries and the first 7 issues of his solo series. That trade paperback jumps around a bit because this is really his origin. Batman first meets him in this story, and this has got a beautiful, I keep bumping this damn stand, wraparound cover by Joe Quesada, who does all the interior art in here. One of the few DC things he did was design Azrael and do this little mini-series before jumping to Marvel. He also designed what I like to call the best bat suit ever, or the Azbat suit, which you will see here with this action figure. This is the first version, and then later he gets a little bit more militant, and you get to this version with the blades and stuff. So this is the one that everybody remembers and kind of hates. I love this version personally, so it's my personal favorite. This is a Mattel DC Universe figure from way, way long ago. As you can see, he's got all the, pouches and blades and sharp things and, everything a 90s kid loves. So here's another Mattel action figure of his original design. And then, you enter the Sean Murphy design here on the cover, but that's also available in this beautiful action figure from McFarlane. which is fantastic. These sword slides, the flames slide on and off, which is really cool. So you can have the flames on and off, which is in the book too. So I have him, and then I have the Sean Murphy Batman as well. That's also available. So if you love this story, there's ways to show your love. I loved it reading it digitally. I love Azreal. As you can see, I've got these other figures. So in the Azreal canon, Jean-Paul Valley dies somehow. I've never read that story, actually. And then you end up with a new Azreal, Michael Lane, who adapts or takes on this costume. And I think this was designed by Fraser Irving, and he had his own series that ran for about 3 years prior to the New 52. And he's got two swords. This is like the Sword of Souls and the Sword of, I don't know. It has to do with your soul or something like that. And he's wearing some version of the armor. I think it's called I want to say the Book of Souls, but anyway, it was some armor that was like supposed to drive you mad. It was introduced in the Resurrection of Ra's al Ghul and Paul Dini's detective run. So he got it, and Michael Lane was an ex-cop, basically, who was using this to kind of help him stay sane after he grew disillusioned with being a cop in Gotham City. So you can kind of tell we're kind of going back to the medieval Order of Saint Dumas thing with the cross on the center, whereas regular old Azreal had this medallion, which was like the insignia. You can probably barely see it here, but it's on the back of the original trade right here. So anyway, the Order of Saint Dumas, this is Jean-Paul Valley's father, who in the original version of that Azreal costume had the cross on it. So the Michael Lane one is kind of pointing to that. Oh no, it didn't have a cross. I'm a liar. Fleur de Lis was a big thing. So you see that carry over with Sean Murphy's design here, and I guess there's a little sash that's missing down here, but you can see it on the figure as well. So it's kind of a religious order based in Christianity, kind of a crusader offshoot. So Michael Lane, you don't know this particular costume, but you do know this one, which is from Arkham City. This is Michael Lane as Azreal there. And if you know this one, you know the second version of it, which is this one. And yes, I have all of the Azreal action figures I can get my hands on. I really like this costume. It's more like militant. It's got the cool boots. It's got the cape thing that Sean Murphy incorporated and that we kind of got from the Azreal cape a little bit here. So love this one. I think there's like a big ass statue of this too. Anyway, we gotta go through these action figures later. But yeah, this is Michael Lane. So we're not talking Michael Lane, we're talking Jean-Paul Valley. And going through all that. So you need to know basically who Azreal is and what he was based on, who the Order of Saint Dumas is a little bit. But you need to kind of know the concept of it, that Azreal was this character who was basically this kid who you find out in this book had been brainwashed from birth by the Order of Saint Dumas by something called the System, basically. And that's what made him able to do all these amazing feats and basically like flip a switch and become, quote unquote, better than Batman or almost as good as Batman. So this, if you know all that, right, then you might be able to enjoy this book as much as I did. If you come into it cold, you're just going to go, who is Azreal? What is his significance? Why is he such a cool character? And it's hard to explain, really. And they don't go into the Order of Saint Dumas a whole lot in this book, at least to my memory. I haven't reread it at all. This was really meant to be an overview, but I just love talking this character. I love this design that Sean Murphy did. So it's hard not to gush about, all things Azreal at all times. But if you know that little bit of background, I think could be okay, because everything else in this book is a twist on that and kind of says, okay, you're familiar with all that? Great. Take all that, chuck it out the door, and let's go from there. So the book is basically a referendum on who Bruce Wayne is really in Gotham City and in real life. And all the art is done here by Sean Murphy. All the writing is done here by him. All the inks, the colors are by Matt Hollingsworth. It's 8 issues long, and we kind of pick up where we left off with the Joker and Jack Napier in jail. But of course, he escapes. Where's the Joker? Like any good Batman story begins with Joker escaping from Arkham. And then he kind of finds Jean Paul Valley, who, instead of being a young man, is kind of this old janitor. And through some trial by fire from the Joker, he realizes he's going to become Azreal. And the Joker is kind of back here in the wings saying, you need to go get your revenge on Bruce Wayne. And basically kind of convinces this old man to go on a holy crusade against Batman and Bruce Wayne. So there's a lot of stuff here with the Order of Saint Dumas in like the past history, but it's really not a whole lot of you can barely see that, sorry about the shine. Not a whole lot to do other than, hey, this guy's religious and he's part of some weird order. You find out his name, you find out about a little bit about Edmund Wayne, and then you find out about what happened in the past to help make the Waynes so successful. And there's a really big change in here to the Batman lore that, again, well, there's a couple changes, a couple big moments in here, but it only takes place within this version of Gotham in the Murphyverse, so to speak. And we can call it a Murphyverse because I think in the next couple months there's going to be a Harley Quinn series about Harley Quinn and her children. Probably taking place after this, and there's your first beauty shot of Azreal right there. Yep, so here's Harley Quinn on the opposite page. She's pregnant. She does give birth in this series. No spoilers there, really, because we're going to flip through this and find... So here's a medallion. There's a mystery at the bottom of a cave with the Joker, who these skeletons are. All that comes to fruition within here. And what I thought was going to be a Joker story featuring Azreal with Batman actually is a Batman story versus Azreal featuring the Joker. Even though Jack Napier was like a really compelling character and compelling twist on the Joker, he takes a little bit of a backseat to this, to the rampage that Azreal takes through Gotham. And Azreal actually has 2 henchmen, which is kind of cool. Jason Blood is in here a little bit. And there's, of course, since it's Sean Murphy, there's a lot of vehicle shots that are beautiful. You get a bat bike in this book. You also get the classic 89 Batman thing. So here's Azreal and Batman fighting. And then what's awesome is that halfway through the book, Sean Murphy did like a homage, which immediately I recognized. So halfway through the book, basically, Azreal says, through some other machinations of other people behind Gotham, there's like a rich mafia girl, I can't remember what her name was, but they've basically like, hey, we built you a bat suit over here, put this on. And he does. And we're going to flip to this page because it's gorgeous. Here's another money shot over here, and then here's the cover. And then... here we go. All right, so this money shot right here. Love this page. So this is basically a direct lift from the last part of Nightfall. This is Nightfall Volume 2, the 25th Anniversary Edition. I've already gone and looked at this one. I should have bookmarked it. But look, right here, The Descent. So this is a page out of Batman 500, and this is drawn by Mike Manley. And here's the homage page, basically. So look at that. I love that. I loved it. You know, a little bit more of an armored Batman. He kind of simplifies the colors a little bit with this design. You know, we get like only 2 of these weird scallop things on the leg versus 3 over here. And I think we still have some on the edges. But yeah, beautiful shot. I want to say there's another direct homage. Like, there's another shot almost exactly like this a little bit but it's not quite. But as soon as I hit this full page splash, I had to go and pull up this page out of Batman 500 to look at that beautiful shot. But anyway, I'm a 90s kid. I love it. So sue me. So now we have Batman versus the other Batman, the return of the 89 Batmobile in this book, and it was in White Knight as well. I had to go refresh my memory because they do make like a big make a big deal about it, like, you know, here. And then of course in the same issue we have Batman saying, "Let's get nuts," which is the line Michael Keaton says to the Joker in the apartment. And then kind of the final confrontation between Azreal Batman, or Azbats, and Batman, featuring swords and Batmobiles and violence, stuff like that. So then the last thing in this book is this Von Freeze one-shot, which, if you remember in White Knight, and I think it's more introduced in this book, Victor Von Freeze is a little bit older, and Sean Murphy actually makes him a little bit more like a Magneto figure from the movie, where his family was in a concentration camp, and this is basically that backstory. So it's Sean Murphy. I think he wrote it and then got Klaus Janson to do the art. Klaus, I could be wrong, maybe did some help on the writing, but this is just a really cool little, like, it's not a backup story, it's just fleshing out the things that are mentioned in the White Knight thing. And then Victor Freeze has a tie to Thomas Wayne, and he's not really like a bad guy per se. Here's an example. I love these. An example of how a design works when one artist draws it, and how it kind of totally fails when another one draws it. So this is Klaus Janson drawing Sean Murphy's Batman, and I think it just doesn't look that great. Although when Sean Murphy draws it, it looks fantastic. So you kind of have to, here's another example on this page over here. You kind of have to strike that balance to where you're going to design a costume that works with all artists and not just yourself. So then we have the back matter with, yeah, these are the alternate covers to the different issues, and they were kind of highlighting each one of these characters. Batgirl gets one. Edmund Wayne, who you will come to know in the book. Harley Quinn. For some reason the Joker doesn't get his own like name on there. And then the Klaus Janson cover over here for the Von Freeze one shot, and then this is kind of the sketchbooks back here. But again, even in the back matter, that double page spread, the title page, not here. So you got some pencils, some designs, Azreal designs, all that stuff. And the cover to the Von Freeze one shot, which really beautiful. So yeah, there's your overview and talking about Azreal for 20 minutes. So anyways, hope you guys like this overview of this book, and I hope you like Azreal as much as I do. I think once you read this, if you haven't read any of the 90s, you know, Night Quest, Nightfall stuff, or sort of Azreal, I think maybe this video will give you enough context to enjoy it. I hope so. If anything, you know, you don't have to go buy those other books. You can just read them on, you know, not read them, but read the Wikipedia page to get an idea of what kind of concepts we're dealing with here about a holy war, a holy soldier, and some brainwashing and stuff like that. But I think if you know going into it, you'll understand it. So this book retails for $29.99. I pre-ordered mine off Amazon, so I did save a couple bucks. So yeah, this is the first printing. So I don't know if they're going to do a deluxe version of this. If they do, I'll probably get it the same way I got the deluxe version of White Knight, but I will definitely get this for the Azreal, even if it's like when I did the White Knight video, what was it, last week, the week before, like the back matter was exactly the same. But when I was flipping through the deluxe tonight to look at the Batmobile and stuff like that, I was like, wow, this is, you know, a lot bigger. Even though when you like put them up next to each other, they're really not. It doesn't seem that much bigger, you know what I mean? But when you open it up, it makes a difference. So, I don't know. Curse of the White Knight. Try it out. Go get it. Pick it up. It's a great story. I really liked it. I think the twist is a really cool thing about Batman. So it's worth reading for that. If you don't like Azreal, if you like Azreal, you gotta read it. You gotta read it. And yeah, look out for more Azreal stuff coming soon. Hopefully, I did pre-order. They did make a figure of the new Azbats costume designed by Sean Murphy, the one I highlighted that I probably won't be able to find now. But yeah, I pre-ordered that figure, that's for sure. Where's the cover? Gosh, this one. They're making a figure of that on the same scale as these other ones. So I pre-ordered that for sure. So that is coming soon, and that will be up on the channel there as well. Another cool thing I didn't touch on because it doesn't really, not a huge thing in the book, but there's a cool thing with Bane here, where in Nightfall Volume 2, Azreal goes after Bane. There's a little nod to that here in this book, but it's very, very fast, very quick. So don't go into this book thinking you're going to get one about Bane. It's all about Azreal and how the Joker kind of sets him up to be this holy crusader against Batman. And the title Curse of the White Knight, I thought maybe like Azreal was the curse, but now thinking about what all happens in the story, the Curse of the White Knight, you know, I thought maybe it's the Joker as well, but I think the Curse of the White Knight, if you're talking about White Knight, I think you're talking about Batman. And then the curse would be the family history that's uncovered in the story. Although what's curious, though, is that the White Knight always spelled with the Harley Quinn dots. Always spelled with the Harley Quinn dots. So maybe I need to reread this and think more about Harley Quinn and what she has to do with this book. Interesting. So there you go. Is the White Knight Batman, Jack Napier, the Joker, or is it Harley Quinn? I gotta reread this now. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, this long video. Thank you guys for watching. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. It helps the channel grow, and that's what we're trying to do here on BK's Bullets. So thank you guys for watching. As always, I will see you guys in the funny pages.